You can just smack my knee if I do anything wrong.
How dare you?
How dare you? Yes.
The worst.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Sang Dao here with my good friend Gage, also known as Cemetery Cosplay. And today we're going to be reviewing some notes we have after watching Netflix's new show, The Ultimatum Queer Love Edition.
So many notes.
We're going to start in chronological order, so for now we're going from introduction from episodes 1 through 5. This is a lot. There's just so much to unpack. After reviewing all the couples that are introduced, I'll edit all their faces here. What original couple do you like the most and why?
I want you to answer this first.
So original couple wise, I did like Ozzy and Sam.
Yeah.
I was a little hesitant for Mal and Yoli after meeting them, just because you could see some of the issues they were probably having that caused the ultimatum.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very clear why every couple had come on the show to me, so I wasn't really having a favorite.
Yeah, I don't really think I had like a favorite. I had ones I wanted to punch in the face, but
yeah.
I didn't have like, because I didn't know them well enough to know like their dynamic and be like,
Exactly.
right.
And hopefully, it's a really fast-paced show. 3 weeks, the trial marriage, 3 weeks back to the original. So this is all 2 months of kind of unboxing that. So
Yeah, 2 months to change your life, right? Yeah. Now I'm like literally sitting and thinking, I'm like, did I like anyone from the beginning? No.
What couple gives you the most concern, aka red flags?
Vanessa and Xander. Literally my first sentence of note 1 says, Vanessa seems like a not a fan, definitely Team Xander.
Oh my
That was my very first thing I read about the entire series.
For me, yes, like they were a concern. My biggest red flag was Tiff and Mildred. But we'll dive into that more so as we reveal what happens in the episodes, and you can come to understanding why that's my most concerning couple.
See, I didn't dislike Mildred until like episode 3. She gave me off vibes, but I wasn't like, you are the worst.
She's really good at defending. Like, she puts her whole heart in everything. So I love that. You need that part of a friend. But there's other aspects where I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, 100%.
Need some work. Are there any individual contestants you don't particularly like?
Vanessa. The next sentence was, I hate Vanessa and her shallow ass. That's what I wrote in my notes.
I also, straight off the bat, was like, I don't like Vanessa. I did try to keep an open mind throughout the whole show, but I don't like Vanessa at this point in time.
I'm a therapist, and I didn't keep an open mind.
Who were you most excited for on the whole journey of the show? Contestant-wise, individual.
I'm biased because I really love Xander. Like,
I was excited for Xander.
Yeah, and I grew to love Xander even more throughout the show. But like from the very beginning, Xander like stood out to me as this is someone who wants to do this for themselves, have growth.
So genuine. I was like, so precious, my precious.
Yes. I also really liked Tiff, but I think it's because I kind of thought Tiff was hot.
Oh, that's interesting.
Tiff is okay. Tiff, if you were out there.
Okay. I didn't have any of that. I was like, I don't know. If I went that way, who would I be attracted to? I didn't even think about that.
You're also Demi.
Yeah,
I am
so.
a hoe.
Bruh.
I was like,
let's go couple by couple. So we'll start with Xander and Vanessa.
Ooh, just like general.
Red and green flags. From maybe like episode 1 to 3. This is before they, like during the breakup, before they kind of like start dating-ish other people.
Yeah. I mean, like the biggest red flag for me, and I even wrote it in my note, was, I'll just quote it. I said, does Vanessa just want every single person to choose her because she's shallow? She just keeps messing with other people's emotions because she wants to be the center of attention. Yeah. Every single person she talked to, it was like, well, I know I'm hot. Like, I can do whatever I want.
Those are all of my quotes. It's just like, I know I'm hot, or like this or that. I don't know why, per se, mentally, why she does that. Yeah. Maybe it's to compensate for something else, or like just to boost confidence, because sometimes you gotta hype yourself up.
Well, like in later episodes, like especially the reunion, which we obviously don't want to talk about, but she kind of expressed that she recognized it was a like a coping mechanism that she realized wasn't working, but it really wasn't working.
That took a little too long to realize it wasn't working.
it was so hard to see green flags for Vanessa and Xander because Vanessa was just so trying to put herself in the spotlight all the time.
The point in time when I realized I didn't like Vanessa as a contestant was when they kind of gave their backstory, and Xander's like, you, everything about you, and then Vanessa was just like, me.
Yes, thank you.
And I was just like, wait, like, are you gonna mention anything about Xander?
No.
And then their story was like, they knew each other in high school, they both had boyfriends at the time, and their boyfriends were friends with each other. And I was like, okay.
That's already kind of a red
I was like, you know, like, as far as I know with like queer, it can get messy. So I was like, okay, like, that's a legitimate story, like, I can see it. But then the whole like breaking up, they discover themselves, meet each other again, and Vanessa's like, I've never really dated anyone before Xander. So I was like, oh, first serious relationship after like discovering herself and coming out, and then being super excited to date other people.
Yeah.
It just gave me an ick.
Yeah.
Of a sort.
Yeah. Well, it made the whole thing feel like, and like this just solidified throughout the course of the episodes, but like that she was just trying to like date around, like she,
yes,
which is fine if you're like just learning about your sexuality and you're trying to like
be single and do that then.
Yeah, don't be, because they were together for what, 4 years?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's just,
I feel like she was a little afraid to be truly single. Like she wanted Xander as a backup.
Yeah.
So that's what I got when they started talking, and like that's when I was like, I don't like Vanessa. Red flag. And like I started quoting everything from like every episode, like red flag, red flag, red flag.
See, you wrote good quotes. I was just a dick.
This couple, let's see, Mal and Yoli, green flags and red flags.
I will say, so more of a green flag about Mal specifically. I even wrote it.
She's a Virgo. Green flag.
I don't know anything about astrology.
I heard them say that, and I was like, I love that they're bringing astrology into this for people who don't know astrology.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I said, the one, because I didn't know their names yet. I said, the one who wants all the money for the next, that being Mal. I thought it was very smart, because Mal was never like, I don't want marriage. It was, I want to make sure I'm financially stable before we make this big decision. Like,
yeah, that was actually really reasonable. I feel like when Yoli gave that explanation, I was like, okay, but like that's, I don't think you have to have all of that before a proposal, but having some of it to extent isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, you don't want to dive in head first and be like, oh, now a lot of our arguments are because of finances or whatever it may be, and then like ending in divorce. Like, I didn't think that was a toxic thing for Mal to not want to get married yet because of that. That seemed very well grounded to me, and probably the most mature out of all the couples.
Yeah. Well, Mal later we find. But I just felt like Mal was really mature from the get-go.
Oh, 100%.
So I was excited to see both sides, and Yoli's age played into it, as they mentioned. And that's probably why there was that pressure. Like, I want marriage, I want kids, and all this now. And it's just because, you know.
Because she kept saying, like, her, like, biological clock was ticking.
And it is.
Yeah.
Mine
but
is.
also, you're queer. Go adopt people. Save the foster system.
I understand though, like when you want your own kids, or like if you want to do the methods, like so you can still use it and have your genetics and DNA, but at the same time I'm just like, yeah, clocks are ticking.
Yeah.
And you can never know when you find a person. You could be however old, so work with what you have. But I feel like the disconnect for them to come to the ultimatum. The ultimatum. Well, I can't say that word. English is hard. The ultimatum was because of they weren't able to sit and discuss those things.
Yeah.
And I feel like Yoli wanted to see one thing, and Mal wanted to kind of show both ways, but Yoli only wanted to look one way.
Yeah. So it's like, I feel like, yeah, like their communication was probably their biggest red flag. But even then, this sounds awful, but like, I think because I was so disgusted by other couples in the show that I thought they were flawless. Like, I was like, Mal and Yoli are going to get this because of all the other blaring red flags that other couples had.
Go to Tiff and Mildred.
We don't talk about Tiff and Mildred. I just wanted to have sex with them.
I was concerned looking at Tiff and Mildred, of course, because I could tell right away Mildred was a Latina. That was shown in the preview, so I'm not misusing that.
And she quotes it many
times. But like from episode 1 to maybe 2 to early 3, when they're like dating around and trying to figure out who they're going to do trial marriages with, Tiff was very clear on her intentions of who she was going to choose. Like, I'm picky was her quote. And like that she was very particular. So I was like, okay, like what led you to Mildred then? Because as the clips go through and they're dating all the other contestants, Tiff's like, nope, out, on to the next, and things like that. And I was just
Tiff
like,
clearly just wasn't putting the emotional and mental energy into the experience that the rest of the people were, because even though marriage wasn't what she wanted in that moment, she knew that Mildred was what she wanted in that moment.
Yeah, I feel like she was too afraid to lose Mildred at that point, so she went with it. Yeah. But at the same time, I was like, well, you're in this opportunity. Maybe find someone that can bring something out in you. Yeah. So.
Well, like, this is going to sound, sorry, YouTube world, but, like, slight red flag for me is just how quickly it already seems that Mildred, because Mildred had already been previously married.
And had a kid.
And has a kid who's, like, older-ish, right?
Yeah,
like,
I think a teen.
Yeah.
I can't
and Mildred is, like, my age, like, 31, which is fine. Most people are married by that age. But, like, to already have been married, have a divorce, and then already, they were only together a year and 11 months?
I believe,
Mildred.
Yeah.
It was like the shortest one, I feel like, out of all the couples.
Yeah, all the other couples had like at least a few years.
Yeah,
like 2, 3.
So I was like, you're already pushing this fast into a second marriage when it sounds like you just got out of your first one, really.
Yeah.
Like, that was major red flag to me.
It was kind of funny hearing their story too, because Tiff found Mildred through a hashtag on Instagram, I believe.
Yeah, Latina, whatever it was.
Was it Latina lesbian? I don't remember.
Yeah, Latina hotties, Latina lesbian.
Yeah, something like that. And I was like, okay, I mean, That's where I
find my people.
I've done online dating. I've done apps. Like, I get it, but I've never found someone through a hashtag.
I have like 6 dating apps on my phone. I ain't hashtagging no one.
People try. I mean, there's my DMs and there's the requests that I don't look at because they're finding me through hashtags of cosplay. So it's a thing. But I was just like, okay. Like, hearing everyone's stories, that one, I was like, a hashtag.
You're gonna start hashtagging everything demisexual now.
Yeah.
And then they'll
Sorry.
demisexual allow. And then that's how you'll be found.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so unique.
It was.
Oh, I'm gonna make my own little community.
Oh my god.
Next couple is Ozzy and Sam.
I'm trying to think of what my initial.
They were so timid and shy.
Yeah,
in the
that's the thing. They were so reserved.
Their body language was very stiff. Like, people noted that, and I noticed it too. Like, Ozzy's body language in their like cutscene, and they're giving their backstory and introductions. She's very like uncomfortable, shoulders forward, hunched, hugging Sam really tight. And people are like, "Is it like you're trying to be dominant?" I was like, no, I just think Ozzy was nervous. Sam comforts her. She was just like holding on to it tight.
Well, and Ozzy, I mean, like, fast forward even to like the reunion, still hasn't come out to her parents.
Yeah, it's a
and
nervous thing. You're on TV.
You're on TV. They're gonna find out you're gay, and so they're probably like very timid about like, I am putting this out here
before I'm ready.
Yeah,
it's another thing
because Ozzy was who was given the ultimatum.
Yeah.
So. Why do I keep saying her name is Lacey? This is how much I clearly care about her.
Lexi and Ray.
Yeah.
I'll let you go. It's not a couple I was gonna expect. That's what I kind of liked because it was a surprise. I'll say that.
Well, and I will say, like, if we're being stereotyping in the lesbian community, every one of the couples had a mask presenting lesbian except for them. They were very femme,
okay.
Which I thought was very interesting. Like, they're both long hair dresses. They're both jocks, which I thought was like,
yeah, because they both did sports. Okay, I remember that.
Which the whole time I was like, how are you playing sports with those boobs? That was what
I want to slide it, like, find Lexi's Instagram, become friends, because I need to know how you do that. Like, even the swimsuit when they're dating, I was like, how'd you get that much coverage and support?
I mean, I could teach you. I was a G cup before these were.
Teach me, because I'm in an F.
Yeah.
And it's a struggle.
It is a struggle. I was very distracted by her boobs the entire time, so it was very hard to.
Yeah. Fast forward to like the date, and Vanessa's like, I want to talk to you. Like, I'm not going to talk about your boobs because they're just there.
They're just there all the time.
And that's my life. I feel like people are always looking at my chest before my face. So,
yeah. But I really didn't get necessarily red or green flags from them either. Like, one of them was like, I'm ready for marriage, and one